Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the All Four Downs podcast. I'm OV1. Wow, it is let me tell you, a home turf for clarity in a season full of curveballs. That's right, a blindside hits and a committee crafted chaos. Today's rundown of our episode is going to be thicker than the holiday traffic jam on I 95. That's right. We got so much going on between the firing of Sherrone Moore of Michigan to the Notre Dame not accepting a bowl game and the prediction of the Army Navy game that's happening this weekend. We got that and much, much more here on All Four Downs podcast. Yes, 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 indeed. It is now the bowl season, and we're going on first down here. And no other breaking news that's happened today of Sherrone Moore, who was fired as the head coach of the University of Michigan. Now, to brief Frank, I know everything's been brief. Not all the details have come out yet, but this is what we all know. And if you don't know, let me brief it to you. Okay. Starting in Ann Arbor, when the temperature suddenly dropped a few degrees after University of Michigan officially fired head coach Sherrone Moore following an investigation into an inappropriate relationship with a staff member. Now, the headline alone is explosive, but the timing, that's part buzzing like a stadium scoreboard glitch. We're in the middle of the most chaotic carousel in sports. 25 head coaching vacancies between firings, hires, the moves, and now you have Michigan getting tossed their head coach into a blunder. Like, wow. Okay. I wrote in a blog about Sherrone Moore that his seat was heating up, not just because of off field smoke, but because Michigan looked flat all season. And yes, losing to Ohio State was baffling. The offense was playing terrible. I mean, the play calls and everything else is just, there was so much doubt. But this move wasn't just football related. This was an internal, serious, and very likely brewing long before today. People are asking, how long did this investigation, how long did it last? Like, when did it start? Generally, you're looking at a 1 to 3 months average, sometimes longer if attorneys or HR departments are stacking evidence like a Jenga blocks. Yeah. So here's the key question here. Was Moore under investigation the entire month of November? Was Michigan quietly gathering facts while the public focused on the Ohio State rivalry? The timing makes you wonder. Whatever the timeline, the result is crystal clear. Michigan now joins a long list of programs hitting the reset button. And something else that, I'll put out there. When Jim Harbaugh was under investigation, everyone, step by step, knew that Harbaugh was getting looked at. And people was always asking questions. But all of a sudden, with Sherrone Moore, kind of scratching my head again, the timing of everything. All of a sudden, boom, he's fired. Breaking news. What? Yeah. Somebody else was in that similar situation. I think it was some former head coach from Michigan State. Well, by the way, the whole entire Michigan State itself are on they're just seeking new coaches because they're just firing everybody over there. Yeah. That's one of the 25. But hey, it is what it is. It's happened. But coincidentally, I'm talking about him being on the hot seat, and now he's fired. Yeah. The question is, who's next? Who's going to be the next head coach? I put some names out there. You could agree or disagree on this. Dable Sweeney, Probably more likely not, but if you would decide to leave Clemson and hop on to Michigan, that'd be fine. How about Manny Diaz? Did a wonderful job with Duke, turned things around, won the ACC championship, or other names like Jeff Monken from the Army or Gus Malzahn from Florida State offensive coordinator, who is a former head coach from Auburn and UCF. What about Dana Holgerson, who was the former head coach of Houston? Or Dan Mullen, who is currently at UNLV. I mean, he's back from being, after being fired from Florida, took a job at ESPN. Now he's back on the platform. There's some names to throw out there to consider. Let's move on to second down. Um, Again, the national championship, the brackets are already set, but Notre Dame left out. Was that fair or failure? And I tell you this because, like I said, second down, we're shifting over to Notre Dame. And if it's not like the college football playoffs were not interested, they opted out of the bowl season. That's right. Notre Dame opted out of the bowl season entirely. And I get it. I totally understand, especially when you're competing and being ranked in the top 10 throughout the whole entire season. And this happens. Notre Dame finished ranked number 10 in weeks 14 and 15. BYU sat at number 11 and Miami at number 12. Then suddenly the final rankings drops. And what do we see? Miami jumps 2 spots ahead of Notre Dame without even playing a game. BYU drops. Alabama loses their conference championship and they stayed the same. Ohio State lost, but again, that was a good duo between 1 and 2. But BYU loses and they get dropped. Now, I understand, if they got dropped because somebody else filled in that position, such as let's just say, you know, Virginia lost, but another conference champion took over that slot. I get it. I totally get it. But when you drop BYU to allow Miami to jump up, then that's a problem because the fact that you got the committee did say that they're not going to punish the teams that play in the conference championship because they want them to play hard. They wanted to be competitive. But you drop BYU in the rankings, but you didn't do that to everybody else. That's double standard. And then you got the media, and then you also have the Big 12 and the ACC are taking shots at the athletic director of Notre Dame. That's not fair, man. Not fair at all. It's not fair that you went ahead and ranked Notre Dame, and to be just before the final rankings, it just seemed like Notre Dame had that number 10 slot to be in the playoffs. And then how everybody else is just talking about, oh, I kind of knew that Miami was going to make it and blah, blah. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You argued the fact because Notre Dame and Miami played head to head in week 1 and Notre Dame lost. I understand that valid point. I understand. But then something had to be done to where maybe Notre Dame and Miami should have been dancing outside of the top 10. And then if we want to talk about the best 12 teams in college football, Miami and Notre Dame, if you're saying that they're the same, are they really the best team? Well, what about Vanderbilt? Because Vanderbilt, to me, is a better team than Miami and Notre Dame. Just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. I think it's a valid argument when it comes to situations like that. Okay. Here's an article that I wrote about college football chaos, broken process, of furious of Notre Dame and the system that need of reform. And yet we continue to follow this through. Okay. I agree. I am upset. If I was in Notre Dame, I would be upset too. And here's something else. And I saw this article on USA Today. And in quote, okay, shortly after the inception of the 14 playoff during the 2014 season, bowl games have taken on a decreased importance and are now widely viewed as glorified exhibitions. Previously, their diminished role was largely limited to high profile NFL bound players opting out of the games to focus on their draft preparation and avoid the risk of serious injury. Now, that trend is extending to teams choosing not to play, often due to players' defections to the transfer portal, a coaching change, some combination of both of those factors. Or, as Notre Dame showed on Sunday, a lack of desire to play in a game with no path to the national championship. Remind you that they expanded to 12 teams. You had to know that this was going to happen. And to take all the major bowl games and put it in the playoffs, then why have the other bowl games? Why can't we just stop at the conference championship, play for whatever it is, and then move on? After all, this is a business now. This has nothing to do of the traditional way of playing it back in the days. Nobody cares about that snapshot of these teams because you have the combine for the NFL that they could prove themselves individually. There's no worth of going to bowl games and paying $200-300 a ticket just to see something that doesn't mean anything anymore. So why are we going? Why are we having the Fenway Bowl, Pinstripe Bowl, the Armed Forces Bowl, all these other bowls that's happening before the college football playoffs? Why are we having them? What is the purpose? Where's the meaning? Or could we just simply say, you know what? On the conference championship, these are the actual bowl games. I think that's fair. I think they should do that. Then again, it's all about money and profit. Let's move on to third down. We have one game this weekend, and it's a traditional of the Army Navy game. It's happening in MAT. I'm sorry, M&T Bank Stadium. That's the home of the Baltimore Ravens. The temperature's going to be all right at 44 degrees. It's going to be comfortable for football. Navy won last year, so they got a one-game streak. But overall, Navy leads 63 wins to 55 and 7 ties. And Navy's favored to win this game, 6 points. Yeah, okay. And I'm telling you what my prediction is. I am taking the points for Army. I'm giving them a +6. And here's why. You look at their history this season, and I know this is a rivalry game, so there's a lot of difference. But the last few games, they beat UTSA 27-24. They lost to Tulsa by 1 point. They beat Temple by 1 point. They beat Air Force by 3 points, so on and so forth. But the most common team was North Texas. Yeah, both Army and Navy did lose to North Texas, but here's the catch. Army went in overtime against North Texas and lost 45-38. I can't say the same for Navy when they got demolished 31-17. So when you give Navy 6 points in a game that is only fighting the trenches, I don't think so. It's not going to happen. I am taking the under 38.5. This is going to be full of just run game. They get to the middle of the field and they're always going to go for fourth down on both sides of the ball. They're going for fourth down all the way. So under 38.5, and I'm taking the +6 of Army. That's my pick this weekend. Book it, guaranteed. Then again, please gamble responsibly, please. But just be careful out there. But I got Army winning this game, and you could see the record. You could throw it out the window. This is a rivalry game between two military teams going at it, and it doesn't matter what the season were. I mean, Army could be 0 and 11 or 0 and 12 or whatever the case may be. Whether they winless or undefeated, it's still going to be a great game to see Army and Navy. Next week, I want to give you my prediction, but you can also look and read my prediction on 4downs3counts.com. Is already posted round by round and who is going to be my national champion. All that and much, much more. It's on the website at 4downs3counts.com. So tune in there. You can check the rankings and everything else. Or you can look at this bracket right now. This is the start point. And next week, I will fill it in for you live and give you my scores and everything else, and to see what's going to happen and who will be the national champion. You'll be surprised on the ones that I picked here. All right. And lastly, when you're looking at these the brackets and making your checks, just remember one thing. Last year, the bye weeks, right? The quarterfinals, the top four teams, the top four conference champions, they all lost. So does the first round winner have an advantage over the teams that are waiting to play in the quarterfinals? You decide on that and be careful because that wrong bet will get you. Just saying. Going on fourth down, final whistle. This is it. Gotta love it, man. Fourth down, and I'm going to take a knee on this one to run out the clock. Coaching scandals, college football controversies, and programs drawing their battle lines, and the Army-Navy tradition reminding us why this sport still tugs at the heart. If you enjoyed today's episode, hit follow, leave a review, and share the show with your football family. I'm Ovi Muniz for All Four Downs. Until next time, I'll see you next week with my final prediction on the college football playoffs. Take care, everyone. Have a good night.